But the main thing I want to start off with, specifically with the move that we made, taking this podcast from live to offline, is the streaming boom that's going on within social media right now. It seems like now everyone wants to be a streamer specifically. A streamer specifically. I actually was just outside walking Buzz, and I saw a clip of Neon. I think it was on Bradley Martin's podcast, talking about, streaming is just getting oversaturated now in his eyes. It's becoming more competitive. Everyone wants to be a streamer now. All the rappers want to be a streamer now. And we actually have another clip right here recently of Reggie having YK Osiris on a stream, and let's just hear him out. Oh God, let's just hear him out and see what this is about.
I wanted to stop music for a minute and do streaming. I ain't gonna lie.
That ass.
Like,
don't ever take that risk, bro. Everybody you're not DDG, bro. Sorry, nigga. Don't ever stop music and think you gonna jump in this lane, nigga. This shit hard. I ain't gonna lie. That ass. Every nigga can't do it, bro. You, nigga? Nah. Stick to music, bro. That ain't you.
Why you feel like that?
Cause I'm a hating ass nigga.
That nigga took this shit serious. See what I'm saying? You really thought about that.
Oh.
You was like,
grown ass man just let his emotions get the best of his thoughts. Grown ass man thinking. Stop using your mind.
That's funny as fuck. Stop thinking.
He said
you really deeping into it. Why you say that?
We really just had his brain calibrated.
Listen, a lot of this is jokey jokes. There is a comedic factor when it comes to this conversation, but I also think Reggie is not all the way lying. This is not just YK Osiris, okay? I believe Tyga has been streaming lately. Soulja Boy is actually an OG in the shit. I give Soulja Boy a pass. Okay, Soulja Boy was streaming before streaming was cool, like the way that it is right now. Soulja Boy he can stream. But I think Tyga's streaming now. I think I've seen Iggy Azalea stream lately. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of I'm gonna just keep it a buck. There's a lot of people who are not in their prime anymore, trying to catch a second wind, and they feel as if that second wind that they need in their career is streaming now. I'm gonna just keep it a stack. I think the most successful person to actually do that is DDG. And DDG's been pretty vocal about it. It wasn't too long ago when everyone was clowning DDG, talking about, who wants to listen to this? He wasn't a failed YouTuber by any means, but he was losing a little bit of motion, especially with YouTubing not becoming as cool as it once was, especially in his prime. There's a little bit of traction lost there. 2023 DDG was not 2022, 2021 DDG. Let's just keep it a stack, right? And then he gets into streaming, and now he's blown up to the point where I believe he's like top 5 most sub on Twitch, pulling 6 figures semi-regularly. But yeah, a lot of artists have been trying to get into content creation, and they just instantly go to, Kai streaming, I gotta stream, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you, this extends to a past just artists. I think we are now in a time period where when a lot of people, when they say they want to get into content, they don't even say I want to get into content anymore. They say I want to get into streaming. Because for a lot of people that don't know about the content game now, streaming is synonymous with making content. There's this feeling of, everyone's a streamer. So if I want to get into content, it has to be through streaming. It has to be through streaming. Now, I do want to credit the Trailblazers when it comes to this, because I truly do feel as if this wave was started primarily by Kai Cenat, by iShowSpeed, and by Aiden Ross. There's a couple other names that came before. I want to shout out Ninja. I want to shout out XQC. But in terms of making, streaming mainstream, by and large, I think the forces of Aiden, Kai, and Speed being who they are has really opened the eyeballs of a lot of people into what streaming is, what it could be, how popping these motherfuckers are. 2025, streaming is viewed in a much more positive light than what it was 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? We are now in a time period where when you cook a streamer, you are the one getting cooked. There have been some C-D-list rappers that have come on Blackboy Max's stream. They think they're the hot shit. They think they're the main talent when in actuality it's Max. And his community definitely lets them know about it. Well, man, Max don't need you. Max ain't a guest. Max is cool with guests, right? But he don't need you to pull 40, 50, 70K. That's Big Max. I know this sounds like glaze. This sounds like glaze, but it is what it is. To me, it also reminds me of, I think streaming now is just an extension of the podcast wave that happened, I believe, in 2020, 2021. There's still a lot of people still want to get into podcasting, right? But there was definitely a boom back then of, everyone wants to start a podcast. Everyone wants to start a podcast. Podcast, similar to streaming, became damn near synonymous with content creation. And I think streaming is taking that stage now. But to me, this is a dangerous path we're heading in. This is a dangerous, maybe not dangerous, but this is just not a path that I would like to go in. Because, especially now, because content creation is a matured medium now, in my opinion. This overwhelming feeling that being a content creator inherently means being a streamer is not a good thing. I think we are actually wasting a lot of people's potential and talent by forcing them to be a streamer, when a lot of people would honestly get the success that they're looking for if they just made different types of content. Content creation is so much bigger than streaming and podcasting. It is so much bigger. We have lost the art of the YouTuber, and I don't like that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like the fact that YouTubers are being pushed aside now. And what I mean by YouTubers, I'm talking about motherfuckers that are, making 10, 12, 15-minute videos, mostly recorded offline, really, thinking about how to record it, how to edit it, scripting, the art of a good title and thumbnail. You know what I'm saying? The art of, a little bit of cinematography in there, nothing crazy. We're losing these things to a medium that, I'm going to be honest with you, is just the easiest way to get into content. Streaming is both the easiest way to grow in content, and it's also the hardest way to grow in content creation. Because to grow as a streamer, I think a lot of people are definitely undermining what it truly takes to entertain a live audience in mass. Right? You see Kai doing what he does. You see Speed doing what he does. And from a very casual perspective, it seems like they're just turning a camera on, doing shit that they regularly do, and they just getting money. Right? That's what it looks like. But I'm telling you right now, there is an art. There is a damn near skill to entertaining a live audience the way that they do. And it is hard for anyone who's tried to grow in streaming from scratch without a previous platform. This shit is hard. This shit is hard. I've personally done it. And I'm going to be honest with you. Out of all, just anecdotally, but I feel like a lot of creators actually have the similar experience. Out of all the ways to grow in content creation, growing as a streamer is the hardest thing I've ever done. It's the one that I haven't truly cracked yet. I know how to grow in streaming, but I haven't truly cracked yet to the point of how FaZe and Kai have done it. AMP, all of them. I haven't truly cracked the code to that degree. But it is the hardest medium that I have tried to grow in. And I feel like that's a part of the coolness factor of it as well, why everyone wants to get into streaming, because if you do make it, like there's a very, grateful feeling of you made it out the mud for real. You made it through all the noise. Kind of similar to like making it as a rapper. There's so many fucking rappers out there. You feel like you think it's easy to, but there's a coolness factor to becoming one of the biggest streamers in the world. But it's also simultaneously, like I said earlier, the easiest way to get into content creation. I'm gonna just say it, the laziest way to get into content creation. Because ultimately what you really, all streaming is getting a camera set up, getting OBS set up, start streaming, and once that clock goes from 0 to a second, technically you're already creating content. You don't even gotta do shit, motherfuckers react to shit, right? They just talk to chat, just chatting is what streamer culture calls it. But compared to what YouTubers had to do, like I'm being so serious, compared to what YouTubers had to do for one piece of content, learning how to record, learning how to edit, how to make a title, make a thumbnail, and perfecting that process, ideation, all these different things, perfecting that process. Streaming is so much more easier than being a YouTuber. I would even say it's easier than being a TikToker. I'm being so serious. Like the art of streaming is easier than being a TikToker because again, all you gotta do is go live, and as soon as that starts, you're technically already creating content. You don't gotta worry about different takes. You don't gotta worry about even adding subtitles. You don't gotta worry about all of that. So people think it's easy. People think it's easy in terms of how to make the content. There's also a coolness factor to it now, right? But I am telling you, there are a lot of aspiring streamers right now that would be so much better if they just became a TikToker, if they just became a YouTuber, or hell, if they became a podcaster even. Because I know I'm kind of throwing podcasting under the bus here, but I think podcasting takes more skill than being a streamer. Because to me, podcasting is the art of being a conversationalist. It's the art of making conversations. It's the art of having good conversations. But streaming isn't necessarily that. A lot of streams now, again, is just going outside and just chilling with the bros. Just going out, we outside, right? There's a lot of dead space in the content, right? A lot of things going on here. Not a lot of things going on in a lot of these streams, but I would even say podcasting is a harder medium a harder piece of content to make. But it's simultaneously easier to grow than streaming. But again, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I fell into this trap too. Because for those who have known my content journey over the last couple of years, 2024, I was very big into streaming culture. I was very big into trying to grow as a lit streamer, or trying to grow as a streamer on Twitch specifically. I was getting into my gaming bag. I was getting into my React bag. Like I was really trying to do it in 2024. But then I just had to sit down and realize maybe my skills just aren't best utilized for streaming. Maybe for me the best way to grow is not through streaming. Maybe the best way for me to grow is to do what I'm good at. I feel like a lot of people, right? This is ultimately my point. I feel like a lot of people are trying to fit a cube into a circle hole. I don't even know if that's the right phrasing of it, but y'all know what I'm saying. Really, this is just my advice to y'all. Truly, really assess the skills that you have and really think, is streaming the best way for me to create content? Because I feel like for a lot of y'all, it still may be. It still may be. But for a lot of y'all, just look at the options. There's a lot of options out there is ultimately what I'm saying. Not everyone needs to be a streamer. Not everyone needs to be a streamer.